Coming up here on the San Francisco 49ers Report, more proof that this Bryce Huff trade from the Philadelphia Eagles to the San Francisco 49ers is a great deal for San Francisco, and that should make Niner fans very happy going into 2025. My name is Shay Sr. Thanks for hanging out and making today's show a part of your day. Let's naturally begin with this poll question. Do you like this Bryce Huff trade? I want you to type L for like, D for dislike. Share your thoughts with me down in the comments section, and maybe with the information that we pass along, some of the data and the stats that we talk about here today, your opinions will change by the end of this show. As for that Bryce Huff trade, here's a refresher here. The Niners receiving Bryce Huff. The Philadelphia Eagles going to get back a mid-round pick. This deal is not official yet. Once it does become official, we'll get that official draft capital going from the Niners to Philadelphia. The Niners only going to pay Huff this upcoming season less than $8 million because the Eagles restructured his contract. Philadelphia going to be able to save $2.4 million in 2025 cap space. They're going to save just under $8 million in cash while opening up a roster spot. And I really like this move for San Francisco. I said it the other day. I'll reiterate that right now. Bryce Huff is a player who flourished under Robert Saleh. Saleh is back as the Niners defensive coordinator. He has had his imprint on the Niners roster building. In the NFL draft, you saw the Saleh influence. In free agency, you've seen the Saleh influence. Him and Brant Boyer have brought a lot of Jets players with them to the Bay Area. And a lot of people will say, isn't that a bad thing because the Jets have been an awful football team? There's a misnomer on that. Robert Saleh had some of the top defenses in the National Football League when he was the Jets head coach. Brant Boyer had some really good special teams units with the Jets as well. It was the offense that was the problem. They couldn't find a quarterback, and they weren't playing complementary football. And so Saleh is still one of the top defensive minds among all coordinators in the NFL, and maybe he's better suited to be a coordinator. That's fine, because with the defensive mind that he has, he brought the best out of Huff, who was a UDFA coming out of Memphis and came onto the scene and developed over time, partially because of the coaching and the influence of Saleh. The Niners also, when you look at this roster, they drafted Mykel Williams at 11. They drafted Alfred Collins in the second round. They drafted C.J. West on day 3. That's a defensive end and 2 defensive tackles. But the backup defensive end spots up in the air. Question marks. You have Yetur Gross-Matos, Sam Okuanu, Robert Beal, and you released Drake Jackson. And so you needed an edge rusher, and you needed a pass rush specialist. And Bryce Huff is perfect in that role. He's also a perfect fit for your NASCAR package, because now you can move Mykel Williams from defensive end to defensive tackle on obvious pass rushing situations and obvious passing downs for the opposing offense. Mykel Williams has experience with that role at Georgia, and then you bring in Bryce Huff, who has been elite in getting after the quarterback. It's not like the Niners are paying Huff $17 million. The Eagles gave him $34 million in guaranteed money. And so they've had to eat a lot of that dough last year and in 2025. The Niners are paying him under $8 million. And for Nick Bosa, he must be pumped up about this, because Bryce Huff is a Ferrari coming off the edge. He might be the best pass rusher and the most explosive defensive end that Bosa has had since the Niners drafted him in 2019. Dee Ford wasn't that guy. He was for a short amount of time, but then he suffered that neck injury, and he was cooked. And look at what Saleh brought out in Bryce Huff in 2023. His overall PFF grade was 79.7. That was 33rd among 197 edge rushers. His pass rush grade of 86.8 was 11th at that position. He's never been a good run defender, but the Niners aren't going to ask him to do that. His role is going to be to put the quarterback under siege. He had 10 sacks that year while playing less than 50% of the snaps. That was 22nd among all defensive ends. and he had 67 pressures. That was 15th. That all came on 334 pass rushing snaps, which ranked 56th among 197 players at that position. Vic Fangio runs a 3-4. Bryce Huff was a stand-up edge rusher with Philadelphia. Robert Saleh runs the wide 9, where Huff, in that three-point stance, is more explosive when the ball is snapped. And this is some news right here that should get Niner fans very excited. Here's what Huff's former teammate with the Eagles, Brandon Graham, legendary player for that organization, said about Huff. With the Jets, it was just that defense, man. I know what it's like playing in that 4-3 wide 9. Go get it. Every play, it's always stop the run on the way to the quarterback. That's the slogan in that type of defense. I feel like it's all scheme. I mean, I've seen different guys flourish in different systems, and then you see Bryce Huff get into another system, and it's different. And it's what we asked of Huff this year. It just wasn't a great marriage, I would say. Because I know Huff can rush. I see him doing all that. But sometimes it's just different with the type of scheme and what players ask of you and what they want you to be able to do. And maybe it wasn't that for Vic Fangio. I just know that Huff's a baller, man. And hopefully for him, I want it to be a win for the team and a win for him. In this case, I'm going to be happy if it's here or somebody somewhere else, for him to be able to go show what he can do in these prime years ahead of him. Brandon Graham played alongside Bryce Huff. He knows what he's capable of, and he knows that Huff wasn't a scheme fit for Philadelphia. Huff is a scheme fit again for San Francisco in this wide 9, where he can get that runway to get after the quarterback. I also really enjoyed this write-up from Kyle Posey on Niners Nation, and this provides some more data for why Huff could really be an impactful player for the Niners. Sacks don't do Huff's 2023 season justice. Filtering pass rushers from the wide 9 in 2023, Huff was 7th in quarterback hits. Nick Bosa was 1st. And 8th in pressures. Bosa was 2nd. When viewed from a percentage standpoint, Huff led the NFL in pressure percentage at 23%. If you can get that kind of production with the Eagles paying half of Huff's salary in 2025, this will go down as a massive steal for the Niners defense. Best of all, Huff won't be asked to be the Batman of the defense, which was the case in 2023 under Saleh. Huff was still productive among players lining up in a wide 9 technique in 2024. He finished with the 9th highest pressure percentage of 17.9% of players with at least 15 pressures. But he only had 89 snaps, so there wasn't an opportunity for him last year like there was in New York. That'll change in San Francisco. You think we're ending there, folks? Oh, no. We're going to keep the heat coming here on the 49ers Report, but a quick reminder, be sure to subscribe to the channel for the most elite Niners coverage right here on YouTube. And I give you shows every single day right here on the 49ers Report, so lock us in. If you want to be a real one and you want to support the channel, support the movement, and support our company here at Chat Sports, 49ers Report hats are back in stock. If you Venmo me $50 to @Chase_Senior, you see the username up top. You can also scan that QR code. I will send you a 49ers Report hat, Chat Sports swag, and a personalized letter from me. That's @Chase_Senior. We have sent out so many hats worldwide to a lot of loyal viewers who watch this show. You get to support the Niners, support the channel, and spread the brand. That's @Chase_Senior on Venmo, $50. And a lot of people will say, I can get hats for cheaper on Fanatics. Look, we are a YouTube channel and a sports broadcasting company. We make these hats ourselves. And again, it goes a long way in supporting everything that we do. Now, you look at Huff's numbers in 2024, and the Eagles had given him $34 million in guaranteed money after he had 10 sacks and 67 pressures the year prior with the Jets, and this was a flop of a signing for Howie Roseman. And it was a miss in free agency when Howie Roseman crushed it elsewhere, signing Saquon Barkley, Mekhi Becton, Zach Bond, and C.J. Gardner-Johnson. But while Vic Fangio didn't really trust Huff because he wasn't a scheme fit, these numbers aren't all that bad. He had 182 pass rush snaps, and he still had 20 pressures, 17 hurries. His overall PFF grade was 68.3. His pass rush grade was still in the green, too, at 68.2. And his run defense, it improved from the year prior to 60.2. Furthermore, in 2024, Huff ranked 10th in pass rush win rate, 24% on true pass rush sets. Those numbers above the likes of Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter, two of the top edge rushers in the game, both for the Houston Texans, and also above a former Niner in Eric Armstead. Now, the Eagles last year and Vic Fangio utilized him exclusively on the left side, about 94% of the time. As I mentioned earlier, he was a stand-up rusher because sometimes at a 3-4, Vic Fangio will ask his outside linebackers to drop back in coverage and stand up edge rushers. That's the prototype for that 3-4 system. But when he is able to be in that 3-point stance and put a hand in the dirt, that's when he can be the Bugatti. That's when he can be the Ferrari coming off the edge because he's so much more explosive when he's able to get out of that stance. You have that better peripheral view of where the ball and when the ball is being snapped. And then he's a little bit of a shorter player that also allows him, as he starts low, to stay low and get that bend around offensive tackles. Also in 2023 under Robert Saleh, he was 7th in pass rush productivity, and that was more efficient per snap than Nick Bosa, Trey Hendrickson, and Max Crosby. Those are some of the best defensive ends and pass rushers in the National Football League. And in 2023, we talk about the 10 sacks and all of those pressures. He was 3rd in pass rush win rate at 22.9%. This is also not a player who the Niners are bringing in like a D4, who was older and then had that neck injury. He could never play again because he couldn't pass a damn physical. Bryce Huff is only 27 years old. He just broke out in 2023 with the New York Jets while playing in a system that fits him under a head coach who is now the defensive coordinator with the San Francisco 49ers. And so I truly believe that the Niners can get the best version of Bryce Huff, and this should make Nick Bosa very happy. It should make Robert Saleh very happy to get a player of this ability. And I do think that he can help out some of the younger players on this defensive line who need to develop and grow as pass rushers, because with that speed to collapse the pocket, it will force the quarterback to move around, have to step up, paving open a lane for Nick Bosa to get home, Alfred Collins to get home, CJ West to get home, and yes, sometimes Mykel Williams to get home as well. More evidence. This Bryce Huff trade is a great one for San Francisco. Be sure to give me a follow on X and Instagram, by the way. I put out so much Niners content here on YouTube. I'm always talking Niners over there as well. So support my brand. I appreciate that. And don't forget to subscribe.